This is how to replace a door key cylinder for a 2002 Chevy S10. If you live in a city like I do, you may eventually find that someone attempts to access your vehicle with a screwdriver. While they were not successful in this case, they did manage to destroy the key cylinder on the driver's side of my vehicle. So I need to replace that. The part you need has to be bought from a dealership. You can't get it aftermarket as far as I was able to find, and it costs about $150. You also need to have a locksmith go and set it up for you so that it will work for your key. Tools you'll need for this job: small flat blade screwdriver that has been bent. You can get a cheap one and bend it. That's what I did. Regular old Phillips head screwdriver, large one. Large flat blade screwdriver, ratchet, 10 millimeter socket end, a 7 millimeter socket end, a 1/4 to regular 3/8 adapter for the 7 millimeter socket end, and a short extension bar. Okay, to start with, we're going to have to remove the interior door paneling of the vehicle. First part that needs to be removed is this cover over the handle and lock mechanism. Next component to be removed are these two 7 millimeter screws under the handle. Careful that you don't lose the screws inside the door. Okay, the next component to be removed is the window lever, because it will actually hold the door panel on. There is a small spring pin behind the cover here that you have to remove, and you will need to remove it a bent small flat blade screwdriver. This part's always the most challenging part of taking the door apart, so you'll need a little patience to get it off. Feel free to rotate the handle around to the most accommodating position to get the clip out. And there it is. Once you remove that, it pulls straight off. Okay, the next step is to gradually begin pulling the door panel off. You can start by popping the top part off where it connects with the window. Be very careful, these plastic clips can break, and if they break, there's not really a good way to fix them. By comparison, those plastic Christmas trees are replaceable, so if you can, it's often preferable to pry them out rather than try to remove the Christmas tree from the panel while it's still attached to the door frame. Okay. There you go, that one's free now. And there's another one immediately below it. There's number 3 removed. Number 4 comes off quite easily. All you have to do is get your fingers underneath and pull right here. Let's see if we can get 5 and 6 off here. There's 5 right under this panel. And there's 6, which is right here. Morning. Okay. You've done everything right. You should still have all your Christmas trees here. None of these should be broken off. And when you're ready to put it back together, all you have to do is place this over the openings and press on it and it'll pop right back in. We're trying to get to the key cylinder, which is over here. We need to pull back this insulation paneling. And you can see inside here, there is in fact a small bolt there that has to be undone to remove the door handle. Anyway, the door handle can be removed via that bolt right there, which will need your 10mm socket. As before, make sure you don't lose the bolt inside the door. The second bolt is hidden under this plastic cap, which you can remove with your bent screwdriver. As before, remove it with a 10mm socket. Okay, the next step is to remove the plastic ring, which is probably very difficult to see from here, from the old key cylinder. There's a little groove on it that you can access. There it is, which you can get to with the screwdriver and just push it off to the side like you can see there. Once you have that plastic piece off, all you have to do is reach up behind with a finger and push the metal bar through. Yeah, at this point you can actually remove the lock cylinder without undoing the door latch connection. there's a little metal tab at the bottom here that needs to be pushed up with a screwdriver. Once the tab has been pushed up, and it may be a little tricky, you can simply push the cylinder out the back. Or in the case of mine, which has been half lock-picked with a screwdriver, it's going to fall out in pieces. Which can be retrieved and they really did do a number on this one. It's completely shattered. That's part of the lock. Another one broken piece. Parts grabber, like this one, is useful for removing the broken pieces of cylinder that have fallen into the door. Not a whole lot left of this, but it did keep them from getting in, so let's get the new one installed. Installation is, as usual, the reverse of disassembly. So start by taking your new key cylinder and putting it in the existing key cylinder hole. Make sure the lever is pointing to your left-hand side when you put it in there. If it's not, you may have to remove this clip and rotate the lever arm to the opposite side. Once you've got it in there, press it forward until the little catch there snaps into place. Now your key cylinder is secure. And as before, you need to tuck the plastic part to the side and put the end of the bar through the hole in the middle. You can then snap the plastic component onto the bar. And there you have it. Flat blade screwdriver. The bar is now attached to the lock. At this point, you can now reinstall the bolt here and there. You will need to put a hand behind the door here and hold the door handle in the correct position to line the screws up. There it goes. When you're starting that top one, you'll have to reach into the door here and pull the door lever bar back. Otherwise you won't get it to start. Because there's just not that much room over there. Okay, at this point your new lock cylinder should be functional, so you should be able to put your key in. and open and close the door. Also, while you're here, it's worthwhile to make sure everything else is hooked up before you begin reassembly. Looks good. We can now begin putting things back the way they were. When you get to the top, you're going to have to lift the top portion over the edge of the door frame. Alright, now your panel's reinstalled. You put your door handle back on, your door handle cover back on. And last but not least, the door handle. Make sure your door handle is in the same position it was when you started. Or, if you didn't really like where it was when you started, make sure you've got it in a position where you like it. And that spring clip only goes on one way. There's two little wedges on one side, and that's where it sits against. Put it on the other way, you'll have a bit of difficulty getting it off next time. And there you have it. Your door is reassembled and you're ready to go.